Kieran Gillen and Asad Ribic team the Eternals up with their most hated of enemies as the heroes work through the truth about their resurrections, while Thanos takes aim at the Prime Eternal. Kieran Gillen continues to build out his insanely creative and unique take on the Eternals as we catch up with the heroes in the wake of them learning the truth about their resurrection and how, when they are reborn, a human dies to provide the necessary energy. This issue puts forth a few really goddamn interesting ideas, the first being Ikaris and his new mission to learn to care. It's something I've never really considered, but being an Eternal where you're essentially immortal and can be reborn in an instant, they don't really care about dying in combat and go into it really carelessly, so he has to pretty much relearn how to fight with care for himself. It's a thoroughly interesting way to take the character, and I like that it makes him a little bit more complex than Ikaris usually is. The other really cool idea that Gillen explores is art and how people view it, doing it through the eyes of a deviant who puts forth the idea that art can be eternal, but it doesn't have to be, and sometimes the best art is very fleeting and in the moment. It's so cool that the deviants are getting a lot of character development, and Gillen is making them just as important as the Eternals are themselves. Asad Ribic continues on with his just brilliant looking artwork, bringing some real depth and emotion to Ikaris' plight as he wrestles with the truth and deciding to care again, while giving the book this real ethereal kind of dreamlike feel. Eternals issue 7 was a fantastic complex character development filled issue that tackled some really interesting ideas regarding art and self-care, further deepening the characters and setting up some really fantastic plot points for future issues. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10. Eternals issue 7 heads to Lemuria, where Tolau the Delirious is woken up by the rageful shouting of the Eternals arriving at the city gates, met by other deviants who call for their deaths. Kingo readies for a fight, but Thena tells him that they aren't there for that and they are there for help. Kingo reminds her that the phrase "I come in peace" only gets you so far when the ones you are saying it to are vying for your blood. Crow, the leader of Lemuria, calms his people, meeting with the Eternals and revealing that he is now in control of Lemuria yet again. He's not too happy the Eternals are there disrupting his rule, comparing them to the Sentinel robots the mutants battle, just showing up on their new island nation. Thena wants to explain, but Crow doesn't think that she is suited for that, citing Tolau and asking if it's her new boyfriend. Crow decides to talk with Cersei instead, asking her to join him on his throne. The Eternal says they wish to learn change, knowing that it's a delicate position, but they will be of use to the exiled deviants. Crow thanks them for arriving desperate, since that will help their cause, but they'll need to perform a symbolic humbling, something like a bowing or scraping, apologizing it couldn't be done in a more dignified way, but Cersei understands, eager to learn more about the ugliness of the deviant politics and how it differs from their own ugliness. Crow, however, adds one more caveat, wanting Cersei to join him for dinner, but the woman knows that that won't work, but she soon relents. Crow asks the whereabouts of the other Eternals, learning that Ikaris, Phastos, and Sprite have their own business. Ikaris meanwhile visits the fresh grave of Toby Robson, apologizing for failing the boy as Sprite arrives, saying that she didn't know any of this would happen this way, calling the visions useless, and he wouldn't have been shown anything in the visions if he couldn't do anything. Phastos knows that this is his doing, and he was trying to ensure that no more humans died for them, but it only led to more dying and Thanos being unleashed, and there was no way that Ikaris wasn't going to try and save the day, no matter the risk. Ikaris leaves, knowing that risk is one thing, being too quick to sacrifice was irresponsible, knowing that he needs to see Tony Robson's parents. As he waits outside their home, Jack of Knives appears, telling him that he should have learned by now that being a hero just gets people killed. Ikaris isn't in the mood to deal with the trickster, wanting to tell the Robsons the truth about their son, but Jack says that if he does that, they die, and anyone else he tells the truth to will die thanks to him poisoning their words, knowing that he can't be spilling their secrets to anyone. Ikaris wonders if Jack is hero enough to stop him from tearing him apart, but Jack knows that he would need to be caught first, and Ikaris really must have forgotten what he learnt about their rebirths. Ikaris asks why he's doing this, but Jack wonders why he's making a fuss over a simple human death, knowing that they will replace themselves soon enough, and 100 years ago they weren't even a billion humans, but look at them now. He tells Ikaris that he's right though, and he doesn't care, but it is as it always has been. If someone pays him enough, he will find a way to care. Jack leaves as Mrs. Robson comes outside, demanding to know why Ikaris is there, but Ikaris decides not to tell Sophia anything, instead saying he's there to apologize, knowing that he cannot make amends, but he can be there for her for any task she needs. Sophia stops to think, but then exhales all of her anger and grief onto the Eternal, things that the machine knows she will regret, but he knows that Ikaris is grateful for this, since the idea he could be forgiven is somehow the worst thing, and death is eternal, and his shame for Toby should be as well. Deep underground, Thanos tells Droog he is free yet still not whole. Droog assures Thanos that Phastos has no way of activating his failsafes he placed on the Mad Titan, but if the Titan wants a new body, he will need to rejoin the Great Machine fully. Thanos knows a new body would be good, and Phastos is intelligent and could remember his failsafes. Droog reminds him that he's no idiot, and if he deletes a memory from an Eternal, it stays deleted. He doesn't know how to integrate Thanos into the machine, but knows if he was the Prime Eternal, he would have both the authority and order for it to be done, or he could force others to do it. Thanos doesn't believe that he could be selected as Prime, as Droog reveals that the Eternals are about to select one, and Zuras isn't expecting a challenger, which leaves him vulnerable. Thanos knows that thanks to his recent Eternal murdering work, they won't vote for him, but Droog says he's not some romantic like Kingo or a tinkerer like Cersei, and he's been busy, showing Thanos a diagram in order to show how the villain will win. He reveals that some who don't vote will this time, and ones who always vote in the elections won't be there, so he will have a strong chance to be selected as Prime. Thanos wants to know what Droog gets out of this, so the Eternal says that 1,000,000 years ago, he stood fourth in line for the Prime throne behind great leaders and their seconds and their seconds, and they all hated him, but at each point he took a step forward and stands on the shoulders of great men, and it's all a snake like him could hope for. Machine, however, knows that while Droog deleted the failsafe from Phastos' memory, he copied it into his own, meaning he can kill Thanos at any time he wants, and the Eternal was right, he does work very hard, just very hard for himself. Thanos agrees to his plans, as Cersei meanwhile finds Tolau sculpting a statue of him and Thena. Kingo tells her that Thena's part of the sculpture is made from secondary adamantium alloys, while Tolau is made from meat. Cersei doesn't understand, since that limits the piece, being that the meat would rot away, but Tolau says that art can be eternal, but it need not be, and his work is transitory and beautiful and awful like life. He reveals that when he's making his artwork, he is calm, and it helps him make sense of things. He tells them that he is debuting the piece soon, inviting the Eternals to the ceremony. Tolau asks to be left alone with his work, knowing art and love is all that ever mattered to him, and he wants as much as he can get from it, however long he has left, revealing that he is now under the grip of the excess deviant disease. At the chamber of the Unimind, Zuras is told that Ikaris and the others aren't coming to the vote, knowing Cersei must have warned them. Zuras doesn't care, wanting to move swiftly to ensure his place as Prime Eternal. He begins the Unimind as the Cloak Droog and Thanos arrive. Droog explains the Unimind to Thanos, knowing that it's like they are astrally wrestling with each other until they all agree, assuring that Thanos will be a natural at this. Inside the Unimind, Zuras awaits the approval to continue his rule as Prime, but then another contender appears, one who reminds him that they were abandoned by their gods, and one who promises to be their gods, and one who will set them all free. Zuras manages to free himself from the Unimind, causing Thanos to be selected as the Prime Eternal. Zuras attacks, demanding to know what he is doing, but Thanos thinks that he's forgotten what happened a week ago, seeing to it that Zuras is reminded. The Mad Titan beats Zuras down, telling his uncle that he's murdering him again. Killing Zuras again, Thanos finds himself refreshed by the politics, proclaiming that he is now Prime Eternal and will be respected in their new age, intending on setting them all free, no matter the cost. The many Eternals all chant for Thanos, as Droog says that many are still being resurrected, suggesting they exclude them while their new reality is explained to them. He knows that they can handle this, but asks Thanos what they will do now. Thanos grabs Droog, killing the man, as he tells him that he knew he copied the failsafe from Phastos, knowing the arrogance of the Eternals blinded him. Thanos thinks about what Droog said about what comes next, and the Mad Titan knows it's whatever Thanos desires.